This short video is about starting ArcGISPro the first time. Now when you start ArcGISPro, either this is true in the computer lab at the university, any of the university computer labs, or at home via Citrix or with a home install, you select ArcGISPro. If it's not on the desktop, you would go down to select it from the programs and you select ArcGIS and ArcGISPro. Okay, now when ArcGISPro comes up, you're going to get a logon sequence, and you always get this logon sequence. So you have to get good at this logon sequence. You'll never fill in the username and password at this first screen. You click on the enterprise login because we have to log into the university license for the software. So then you select here and you put in UMN. Okay, UMN and then continue, and you always have to do that. Now at this point you have to click on the UMN ID and log in to your using your regular university credentials. Okay, so that's the logon process for ArcGISPro. Now when ArcGISPro starts, what you want to do before you start beginning a project and doing your lab work, you want to make sure that you're taking the information from the L drive, from the share drive where all the data is on the L, and a particular lab, lab 1 or 2 or 3 as you're going along, okay, and you would right click and you'd copy that, and then you would go over to the L drive and you would go to your home directory and your home, and you would actually paste that. Now I've pasted it already, so it's already there. So the data is in your L home directory, lab 1. So at that point, for the lab, and this is true with lab 1 or 2 or 3, you would create a blank project when you're starting it the first time. The second time, if you pick up your work halfway, you would pick up that old project. But here I'm starting a brand new project, and I'm going to call it something like Lab 1 Working Start or something, something like that, something simple. Now the important thing is you don't put it on the C drive, or you don't put it on the local drive. You want to make sure you're putting it in the right place. So you have to click Browse, and at this point you want to be picking your L drive, okay, your home directory, and you want to be picking your lab 1 where you had copied the data, the data down to, okay? So you give it a name, give it a lab 1, and you check the create folder, that's fine, and you'll say okay. So now ArcGIS Pro is running with your data in the right place, okay? Now when you first start, when ArcGISPro starts, you get a catalog menu up here, and you really don't need the catalog menu here. So I generally close it and keep the catalog over here pinned off to the side. Now the first thing you do when you're starting a session is you have to add a map, okay? So we have to do insert new map, and we'll insert that new map into your project. And you can have many maps in a project, but this is the first one. Now, when you insert a map, it automatically brings in some background information. You don't need this background information for our labs. It just sort of clutters things up. So I'm selecting those layers and pushing the delete button just to clear it away. Now, for the lab, and this is true in the lab instructions, so it's really clear, but I'm just going through the very, very first step here, is you add data, and I'm in my lab 1 folder automatically, and I'm running down to and I've got to run down to where the data is based on the instructions, okay? And the very first thing you do is lakes and roads. Those are the 2 data layers that you're going to be adding, and you click on them and they add. Now, at this point, the instructions should take over and you should be in good shape. Now, you want to remember to save your work, and up here is the save. So this saves your project, all right? So you want to make sure you're saving your project as you go along, so that if something were to happen, you could come back to where you left off. So I'm going to click Save here, and it saves. So if I were to open this project again, which is Lab 1 Working Start, it would come back with this map and this information ready for me. So if you have a crash or there's some sort of problem. So that's how it works. Now to exit, okay, we're going to do project over here on project, and we go to exit, and it closes the project. And you want to remember, when you've closed and saved your project, you want to remember to close if you're using Citrix to actually Control Alt Delete and do the sign out. If you're at home, you don't need to do that with the home install, or if you're in the lab, you don't need to do that. But this completes this video.